Hello and welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad you're here. Today I am going to be doing a recap and commentary about Sister Wives Season 17, Episode 3. I want to say first that when I recapped the last episode, I gave Robin a little bit of a hard time because I said, okay, she never smiles. Like, I feel like when she's speaking, her mouth sort of goes downward and her expression is that she's always unhappy. Well, today she proved me wrong. She actually cracks a smile. So that tells me two things. One is that she does smile, but number two, that frown may actually be an expression of her unhappiness. And I just don't know if anyone feels the same way. Do you think her facial expression is that reflecting that she's not happy or she's angry, or what is going on with her never? It's one thing to have a blank expression. It's something else to seem unhappy. So I'm just wondering if anyone else feels that way. If you do, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, let's get started. This was definitely not one of my favorite Sister Wives episodes. And I don't really know why. I think there's just been a build-up to seeing what was going to happen with Kody and Christine. And we're not getting there yet. I'm starting to feel a little bit let down, and I don't know what I'm expecting. I feel like the conversation's already happened, but I think I'm wanting to see maybe Christine really moving and really the process, and we're just not there yet. But this episode starts out with Kody and Christine talking about their anniversary. Christine is like, I'm done. I don't feel like I'm married to him anymore. But Kody is clearly not sure that she's serious, which feels a little bit funny to me because she is like, I'm done. I'm not even thinking about this as an anniversary anymore. It's like in the past. And he says this.
I asked her if we wanted to post anything on social media in a little way as a test, but, protect our kids. She says no. It's the first time I've ever actually been able to go, okay, wow, she's serious about this. I think I want to keep testing it though.
So isn't that interesting? Like, he's like, oh, we're still testing, or I'm still testing it to see if she's really going to leave. But she's like done. I can't help but think separating and divorcing in a relationship like this, where you're not living with the person, is completely different than divorcing someone in your home. Like, if you divorce and they pack your stuff up and move it out, like your day-to-day life is vastly different. But for Kody, if he's hardly ever there, maybe he doesn't take this seriously because it just doesn't feel like his life is that different. He's living with Robin. I don't know. Anyway, but Kody does say this next comment, and I think this is really, I don't want to say funny, but it's amusing because he's so smug. But go ahead and listen to what Kody says.
You never know when she's just going to realize that the life she's looking to create somewhere else isn't going to be any better than what she's had or got.
I really hope Christine saves that video for herself and then one day replays it for him when she has just the most amazing life. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else. Kody is Kody, and that's what he thinks. No one's going to do better than what they have with him. So there's just a lot of going back and forth between Kody and Christine. They're having confessionals. Basically, Kody is in denial and Christine is ready to move on. She actually says she's upset that she can't move faster. The whole process is going slower than she wants. She wants to move out of Flagstaff and she's ready to go on. She is staying there though for Gwendolyn and Isabel right now until they go to college. So next we move over to a Zoom call that includes all of the wives and Kody. Of course, Kody is over at Robin's house during the meeting. They call it a COVID-19 meeting, and what it really is about is the kids returning to school because the schools are opening up. But the meeting starts out with Kody's manliness and leadership skills being minimized because of Christine.
We're having this meeting, but it seems like she's trying to actually run our meeting, like she's trying to take charge of it. She's getting kind of independent woman now. There's literally an attitude of, I don't need you guys anymore. And I don't have to really submit myself to what the group wants.
I somehow missed Kody saying that the first time I watched this episode. So I like watched it once and now I'm putting the video together and I caught it and I was like, man, I have to add it. It's just classic Kody. I don't think Christine was doing anything wrong. But the Zoom meeting goes on and they kind of talk about a few different things. One is Mykelti's birth. Not Mykelti's birth. Mykelti's daughter's birth. Mykelti is giving birth to her daughter, and she wants Robin to be there as well as Christine and Tony. She doesn't want her dad there, which I think a lot of people can understand. So that's fine. It is surprising she wants Robin there, but I think the show has just been on so long. Sometimes we forget things that happen, or at least I do. And they remind us during this episode that Mykelti at one time had lived with Robin during the point where Kody and Robin were like first together and first like engaged in courting, and she had lived there with Robin to help her with her kids. Yes, to help her with her kids. I feel like there just must be something I don't understand about maybe Robin's home life, because I feel like she frequently is saying she needs help with her kids. She needs nanny. She needs Mykelti, who was a young teenager, to help her. I don't know. Anyway, Robin basically says she doesn't know if she can attend the birth because of the COVID restrictions. Now, my first thought in the beginning was like, okay, if this was in a hospital, there would be restrictions. But it's a home birth. And then I'm like, okay, if she's quarantining the way she says she is, can't she be there? Like, I don't know. If anyone's had a home birth during this whole pandemic, and you can, comment down below, like, were there restrictions in your own home? Were they like, we still don't want that many people? Because if Robin is quarantining the way she says she is, she's probably like the safest person ever to be at this home birth. So I don't know. Whatever, it works out well in the end. They also talk about school, and the reason is because Flagstaff had not returned to in-person learning yet, but the Flagstaff area schools had said the students could go back to school after spring break. So I think we're working, like this show is taking place in spring of 2021. So the students can return to school. They'll have to follow protocols, but they are able to go back to in-person learning. And for Isabel, this is really exciting. This is her senior year. So she's going to have just a few weeks back with her friends, and she really wants to go. So for her, this is really exciting. Christine seems excited for Isabel. I think everyone should be excited for Isabel. Like, I'm so happy she's going to get just, even if it's just a few weeks back with her friends, because she's headed off to North Carolina for college. Of course, in the Brown family, this ends up being a little bit of an issue because most of the other children, including Savannah, which is Janelle's daughter, are going to continue with online learning. I think if it wasn't your senior year, you might just be like, hey, I'm not even going to go back for the rest of the year. Plus, like, Janelle is traveling. They have went to see one of her other daughters whose child had a surgery. So they're kind of taking advantage of the online learning and doing things. But for Izzy, this is a big deal to be back. Of course, this becomes an issue, and Christine asked Kody, are you going to be able to come over and see Isabel if she goes back to school? Like, does this mean you're never coming back to our home to see Izzy? And I have to tell you something. Janelle really came through for Christine. There was no aggressiveness. She just kind of questioned what Kody was saying, because Kody was like, I don't know if I'll be able to see her. But Janelle gave us a few little moments where I was like, I'm glad someone is finally being forward about this. Like, it wasn't aggressive, it was assertive, and I liked it.
I'm feeling really bad for Izzy having to choose between her dad and her friends. It frustrates me that Kody is making it so much like if you go to school, I can't see you, because I think that's ridiculous.
I think most of us think it's ridiculous because I cannot imagine looking at my kids during any point of this pandemic, especially if they're minors, and being like, hey, I cannot see you. Unless there's an actual, like, real medical reason, I think you could have found a way to work it out. You know what I mean? Like, he could have worn his own mask and went to see Izzy and probably been just fine. Like, the way he went about it was a little bit much. But anyway, she also confronts him directly in the Zoom meeting.
What I wonder though, Kody, when are you feeling like you could have a normal life again?
Isn't that the question on all of the viewers' minds? What is Kody's end game? When will the COVID restrictions he is enforcing let up? I know that COVID happened differently throughout the country, and the way we experienced the lockdowns were different everywhere. But I think there was a point with our own, like, particularly immediate families, you still had to exist. I talked in the last episode about, like, how was he functioning? He says he can't drive Isabel to college. I definitely still was getting gas in my car during COVID. Like, I still knew how to get to the gas station and use my hand sanitizer and wear my mask. I didn't go out of my way to be near people, but I still had to do it. Kody and where he decides to apply his made-up rules are really odd to me. It seems to apply a lot to his own children and his own family. So anyway, she just asked a great question there. Of course, Robin has a different opinion. Her children are all staying home for online learning, and this is what she says about Isabel's choice to go back to school.
In my head, Kody's relationship with his kids is more important than anything else. I understand Isabel's desire to return to school, but I'm also I'm really, really concerned about this. And it's something that I just find really, really stupid.
I think what Robin isn't able to put in perspective is that Kody doesn't really go over to Christine's house anyway. So why would Isabel not go see her friends every day at school when she would only get to see her dad, every fourth day? And Kody actually kind of mentions it, but I just don't feel like Robin has that perspective. During this whole situation between Kody and Christine, I have felt like they've been very in control of their emotions. Even Kody, who is someone who often appears on edge, I think he has been in control enough to sit down and talk to her. And if anything, the only stuff I've really witnessed with Christine is that she feels really sad. I do think there's moments of frustration, but I think at this point they're usually because she's frustrated about how he treats their children. But there is a moment during the Zoom call where you kind of witness Christine and Kody confronting each other, and you can tell there's some frustration the two of them are having with each other. And that is because Kody is accusing Christine of being a part of the reason he's not seeing Isabel right now. And he is accusing her of not scheduling COVID test. And her response is that, Isabel's old enough to do it, and she's not even in Flagstaff right now. I just wanted to share that moment here. Let me know what you think. I feel like Christine really wanted to say a lot more, but held back.
She's 17 years old. She can take care of scheduling her own test.
Some people just don't do that stuff. This is what I'm...
Is it possible that the girls are putting in the same amount of effort to see Kody that Kody puts in to see them? Is that possible? Maybe they had to tell him, hey, Dad, you want to see us? We need your COVID test. It's just crazy. It's crazy stuff to me. Those are his own children. But you know what? We've talked that to death. I'm not going to say a lot more about this Zoom call, but I do want to show you one more moment, and probably the moment, I think, during this whole Zoom meeting where, as a viewer, it just felt really sad for me. I felt sad for Christine. I sort of hope that Kody's kids don't watch this show, because I think the things he said, intentional or unintentional, they've been mean. He said things that would hurt them if they watched it. And at least, if nothing else, they're going to see, with Christine's children, they're going to see that she was hurt for them. Even if they can, not feel sad over it. Their mom does.
I've specifically asked that Brianna and Solomon not go back to school.
So he asks Brianna to not go back to school in person because he wants to be around her. But he says Isabel can go back. Gosh, Isabel would love a phone call from her dad saying, can you please not go back to school in person so I can come see you? Could you please go get COVID tested so I can come over and hang out with you because I really miss you?
Isn't that just the worst? I was watching that and I felt heartbroken for Christine. I felt heartbroken for Isabel. He could pick up the phone and have been involved in her decision and said, hey, I understand that you want to see your friends. I would like it if you didn't go because I want to be able to see you. And, at least express that he's sad he won't be able to see her as often if she chose to go back to school. But it sounds like that didn't even happen. It sounds like his phone calls about the COVID testing. I have a better question. I have a better question about the COVID testing situation. Why doesn't Kody schedule it? Why is it Christine? Why doesn't Kody say, hey, I want to come over and see you on Saturday. I'm going to schedule your COVID test. Send me the link. I'm going to put your name down so you go and do it. If it's not important to him, he's just as capable as Christine. Go schedule the COVID test, Kody. Like, go call your kids and tell them you want to see them. A phone call to even express that probably would have went so far for Isabel, but we know Kody probably didn't do that based on what Christine is saying, and I just think it's very sad.
Cody, you could still go see her and be apart from her, like 6 feet apart in the backyard or something.
It's true.
You know.
That hasn't worked through the winter. I've been really glad I've been able to go in the house and visit them.
I don't have much to say about that, but I just wanted to add it. Let him have it, Janelle, because I think Christine needs someone else in her corner. And even if Janelle doesn't want to say she's siding with Christine, she can say, you know what, Kody, I'm siding with the kids. Like, I'm siding with the fact that the kids need you around, so you need to show up.
Teenage kids don't need parents quite like, preteens do. And so,
in case you're wondering if all of the wives agreed with him, because you might be thinking Robin does, actually every single one of them is like, Kody's wrong. Including Robin, and her facial expression says it all, adding again to the fact that I feel like she frowns all the time because she's genuinely unhappy, because I do see her smile sometimes, and I was able to read her facial reaction, hear her facial expression. So anyway, yeah, everyone disagrees with Kody. The Zoom meeting comes to an end, and it's really just left where it is. It appears that Isabel will go back to school and enjoy her year in person, but Savannah's going to stay home. It sounds like it's working well for her. Of course, Robin's kids are going to stay home. Nothing really comes out of it. You just see that they're all in different places about this. It ends, though, with Janelle saying she's done with it. And I was so proud of Janelle during this whole thing. I was like, I hope I see more of Janelle telling Kody how she really feels about this. I think Cody's seeing it as Janelle siding with Christine. I see it as Janelle going up to bat for the kids at this point. I think Janelle could take or leave Kody. They could just like call each other on the phone, be pen pals, whatever, like take him or leave him. I think she loves him. I don't want to like minimize that there's love there. I just am like, she's her own person. I think she's really sticking up for the kids. But Cody's not going to see it that way. We're all going to hear about how Kody thinks Janelle and Christine are on a team. But it ends there, and we move over to some more serious stuff. We see Mary in her car, and she is headed to the hospital. She has been called and told that her mother had a heart attack. You fast forward several minutes into the show, and Mary did not make it there. Her mother passed away. It is really sad. You're watching it, and you can just see the grief she is feeling. The whole family seems genuinely sad. They talk about how wonderful her mother Bonnie was. It was just a very sad moment for the family and for Mary. You also see Christine going through something very different. She is seeing Mykelti give birth, and Mykelti chooses to do a home birth. Tony and Christine and the midwife are present. Robin ends up watching the entire thing through like a video conference call. The whole birth seems to go really well, and Christine is very happy. So we have these two like things that are occurring on the opposite end of the spectrum. We have the death of Mary's mother, and we have the birth of Christine's granddaughter. So the show ends there. Wasn't my favorite episode, but it was okay. That is it. That is all I have to say about this episode. If you enjoyed this recap, or if you just enjoy reality TV, be sure to click like and subscribe. I am so glad you're here, and I hope you come back to Happily Ever Reality.